What's going on, everybody? It's the Franz here for AEW on TBS review for November the 16th, 2022. Full Gear is coming to you this Saturday night from the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. This is your go home edition. We're going to do a prediction as well for the pay-per-view. So let's get into the show. We had Jericho and Sammy Guevara versus Claudio in the opening contest, as those four men will be going one-on-one in a fatal four-way for the Ring of Honor World Championship. I think that match ending told you all you need to know. Also, we find out the reason why Wardlow beat the shit out of and passed out Wardlow last week. And in the main event, it was Jon Moxley, MJF, face-to-face promo with promo. Of course, the firm was going to get involved, but we'll see what happens with that. So again, we started off with Claudio Castagnoli and Bryan Danielson versus Sammy Guevara, Chris Jericho. Very good starting match, straightforward, all men being in brawling. Castagnoli takes things to the outside, and in the back, two Blackpool Combat Family Stars who take advantage early. Match goes back and forth here. Now, Jericho, of course, trying to be the dishonorable. Very interesting how they had Ian Riccaboni on this show tonight, on this match, pretty much just like praising Jericho. It's like, this guy, he wants to dishonor Ring of Honor, but he's becoming one of the greatest Ring of Honor champions of all time. Like, why do you have Ian Riccaboni, who's supposed to hate this guy, going on there praising him for holding the title for as long as he had, which he hasn't had it very long? Now, Jericho has the mat. He's looking to treat. But Castagnoli swings him around instead, locks in the sharpshooter, has the bat in hand, holds it over him as he holds on the sharpshooter. Jericho taps out, and Claudio picks up the win for his team. After the match, he points the bat at Jericho while he's down, and obviously this is going to lead to who's going to probably be taking the pinfall or submission at the pay-per-view. Now, they also, in this match, teased a little bit that what could happen with Sammy Guevara is that Sammy is pulled to do the right thing. Now, if Sammy was teasing a face turn, going face, let's do the right thing, would mean a little bit more than it does. Obviously, Sammy is going to try. There's going to be teased of Sammy trying to win the Ring of Honor World Championship for himself, and possibly maybe rolling up Jericho once, and then afterwards, I'm sorry, all that stuff. That's what's going to happen soon. Anthony Bowens versus Swerve Strickland. Of course, this is leading up to the match on Saturday. Video package is showing the body bag being crouch surfed and then picked up by Sting and placed in the car. Sting is driving the car. The body bag opens, and it's Darby, who has a gash on his head with blood coming down the unpainted side of his face. He gets into the passenger side of the car, looks over to Sting. The camera is on Sting only, and he says at Full Gear, "It's showtime," and laughs as they drive off. Kevin's crew shown backstage. He says it'll be the last time for Sting in the ring on Saturday night. They claimed the ride with their classic rap. They didn't show a music video which features Paul White as Captain Insano. If this is the only time we see Captain Insano, then that is fine. I do not need to see Captain Insano on my television for wrestling or anything. They had the rap. It was fine. Before the match, Bailey Gunn attacks Swerve Strickland as he has before. Then him and Max Caster are sent to the back, but allows Anthony Bowens to get a straight up punch to the face to start the match. Match was good here. Swerve Strickland picks up the win with the JML driver, even though they really had him look like he fucked Bowens' arm up, just snapping it all over, just trying to incapacitate that. Does hit the JML driver 1, 2, 3, and that is that. So Strickland picks up the win. Very good opening match. Our second match. Tony Schiavone's inside the ring, and he welcomes Samoa Joe, the Ring of Honor Television Champion, and asks why he attacked Wardlow last week. Joe says, first, it's an honor to be in the ring with Tony Schiavone, and says that he reminds him of a friend of his named Paul, and hopefully this will end up better than that conversation did. I believe this is back in WWE with Paul Heyman. He asks, is it shocking for a man to refuse to be a victim that takes actions when hearing that someone wants to take something for you? He asks, is it shocking that most dangerous man in the room was him, and for that mistake, he paid the ultimate price? He refuses to wait around and be a victim like people in the building. people who wait for the storm to hit, for someone to save them. He saved himself, and if anyone has a problem, they can take it up with him, which leads to Powerhouse Hobbs coming out. Joe says Joe is late to the party, has been the one kicking Waldo's ass recently. He did stumble on his words a little bit, but, you know, that happens sometimes. So he asked if he should come to the ring and kick his ass. Joe says, you know what? I don't give a shit right now. Just come on, let's fight. Waldo's music hits. He appears from the fans, spears Joe, but instantly gets jumped by Hobbs. They all start fighting each other. The AEW roster spills out and pulls everybody apart. Waldo starts dropping security. He goes to the Dark Order, and Dark Order's like, nope, we're good. No, we don't mean any harm. We don't mean any harm, my dude. And he takes a dive to the outside, taking out everybody outside. And that was that. Shit Faker talks backstage. She points about the 3 years she went from a nervous, happy to be here girl to a face of the company. If you're the face of the company, no wonder the fucking women's division is a shit show. You're the leader of a shit show. If I'm Shit Faker, I'm not going on here saying I'm a leader, that I'm the leader of this women's division, because the biggest thing that's been criticized in AEW is the women's division, and you're the one sitting there calling yourself the leader. Well, if you're the leader of the women's division, then it falls on you for why the women's division is as shit as it is. She wasn't handed anything, Saraya wasn't, which was an opportunity. Bullshit, you've been handed everything and anything. And last week, everything Saraya said about you was on the nose. You don't like it? Don't care. She says that she didn't wrestle at Madison Square Garden, but she wrestled at Daly's Place for over a year where fans couldn't come. You got your leg broken not even too long into the Daily Place shows, and you were sitting on the sideline talking shit while Will Hobbs was your bodyguard for the majority of the time we were at Daly's Place. So don't even sit there and think that you know that you can even say that. And, you know, more delusion and more delusional stuff. She said she does respect Saraya for all of her getting over all of her trials and tribulations, but it came off as just somebody. She said she wants to be the pulse of AEW. I'm sorry, you're not. If you're the pulse of AEW, AEW would have died. Jon Moxley has been and will be the pulse of AEW for the men. Thunder Rosa was the pulse right now. Toni Storm is the pulse of the women's division. It's a very, 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 very weak pulse for the women's division. Dangle versus AR Fox and Top Flight. Darius Martin making his return after nearly, I think it's been like 6 months since he's been out. Excalibur did say it was his life and career could have been cut short in a very bad accident a couple months ago. Just not too long after he came back from a knee injury, which had him out for 13 months. So great to see Darius back. Great to see AR Fox making his main TV debut. This was awesome. They went Darius and Ray first for the match because they're the young siblings. Then they went Dante and Penta because they're the older siblings. And then they had the exchange between AR Fox and Pac because they're not siblings of the other two. They're the third man in the group. Overall, this was a fun match. Overall, just six guys can go out there and give you high-flying moves, lucha moves, bring you down as well. Pac hits the Black Arrow, chance retain, that was that. After the match, he asked if people think they're stupid. They've seen the videos, they've heard the rumors. He said that certain individuals think they can make the triumphant return this Saturday and best the Death Triangle. That is ridiculous, he says. If they want some, then they can bring it. The Heat, because they run from nobody. The clock, we see a clock on the screen. And then we see it's announced that the Elite will be facing Death Triangle this Saturday for the titles. Pac says they might think they're coming, but then they have to be waiting. But they have been waiting for the Elite. And I'm sorry, I don't give a shit what anyone wants to think. This is just Tony Khan showing why people walk all over him. The Elite have been suspended, justifiably so, because they did take part in whatever happened. Doesn't matter what their participation was. They were suspended for a reason. They participated in that. The fact that the very first match these three individuals get coming back is for the AEW Trios Championships, where they obviously are probably going to win them because Tony Khan is rewarding bad behavior. The Elite should come back, and the very first thing they should have to do is come out on Wednesday night next week and be like, listen, we made asses out of ourselves. We made an ass out of AEW. We're sorry. We'll be better next time. We'll be men, not children, and we're going to do better. But no. They're getting rewarded with an AEW Trios Championship. Burn the fucking titles because that's what you're going to do with them. Obviously, you don't need the Trios Championships because all you're going to do is put them back on the Elite because you wanted them to be on the Elite, and the Elite had to be suspended, so you couldn't keep them on the Elite. And here you are going to probably give them back to the Elite, which is fucking ridiculous. Ethan Page versus Bandito, AEW World Title Eliminator semi-final match. Ethan Page and Sophie Hathaway come down. This was very good. Ethan Page, like, I just got to ask myself, where were they tonight? Where were they? This crowd fucking sucked. These two men were going out here giving you a damn good TV match that could have been on any time of the TV, maybe even a pay-per-view quality match, and they get next to nothing until Bandito does a moonsault off a pole, off the ring post to the outside. The crowd was dead for this match. Why? Why is it that WWE and AEW shows recently have been dead silent? Like, come on. Page hits the Ego's Edge, wins the match. That is that. Saraya is then with the ring cut, and she feels fantastic and says she's told getting back in the ring wouldn't happen. She's stick back and forth. She chose to be here because she wants to be here, because she wants to beat the best and shit faker. She will see her at full gear. That was pretty much it. Nothing else needed to say. The final match of the night was Toni Storm versus Anna Jay for the interim women's championship eliminated match. Why? Well, this was originally supposed to be Allie, but Allie is sick. Don't know why. Hope she feels better soon. But why is there an eliminator match for Toni Storm 3 nights from full gear? I don't understand. I don't understand. Now, like, oh, if Anna Jay wins this match, she's going to get the first crack at the women's championship. But it's like, no. There was no reason that your women's champion, interim or not, should be going into an eliminator match 3 nights away from the show, from the pay-per-view that she's defending the title on. It's absolutely ridiculous. And Jamie Hayter didn't have to have a match. Jamie Hayter doesn't have a match on Friday. Why is Toni Storm going to have to wrestle, but Jamie Hayter doesn't? Obviously, Toni Storm was picking up the win on this one. You're not going to have her go out there and lose. Sweet cheek music in the corner. Turks is cleverly. She taps out. Jamie Hayter storms to the ring. She doesn't run. She power walks. She is power walking to the ring. And looks like Toni Storm's ready to square up and fight. And Jamie Hayter just puts her hands on, no, we're not going to fight. They have words off mic. Toni Storm holds up the championship, gets into her face, and that is that. It should be a fun match, but we'll see how that goes. And Jon Moxley comes out. He says he's the best professional wrestler on earth. This is the main event of the show, as a talking segment. He's the baddest SOB in this game. He's traveled looking for the toughest challenges. He needs to find the AEW World Championship. The announcers say that he loves to fight like it's something to be admired at, but it isn't. Moxley says he's sick in his head as he is addicted to adrenaline, pain, and hurting himself and his opponents. He loves it. He says you can't hurt him because he doesn't care, and that's how Moxley is. Last week he asked who MJF is. He scouted his opponent and did some research. He found that MJF is a good singer. He has 1 win in this ring in the past 6 months, beating his young boy. He says he's given a poker chip and the worst ending to a ladder match that he's ever seen, and that's what they came to. Forgive him for saying if he's not exactly shaking his boots. He says the fans see a version of him, of what he wants, but he says the kid playing wrestler and a man fulfilled with fear that he might not live up to the hype. Moxley says MJF isn't challenging him. He's challenging MJF to show him something. Show him why everyone thinks he will be the future. Just then, Stokely Hathaway walks out a bit. Here comes all the firm. They attack Jon Moxley. They lay him out. Here comes MJF. He takes out all the firm. A couple dick kicks to W. Morrissey and Ethan Page. Then he grabs the mic and says, "You better get out of Connecticut before I take my boot and shove it up your asses." He says he didn't save Moxley because he likes him. He did it because he doesn't want any excuses from his sicko fans or anything. When he knocks them out, he says his goal was to become the best wrestler in the world. He knows he is in for a fight this Saturday, but he's not the same kid he was the last time they fought. For the gold, Moxley makes him bleed and pop his bones, but he won't stop because he needs the belt more than he needs water, food, and oxygen. Holding that title makes you the best wrestler on earth, and it's his time. He says Moxley will find out he is the devil himself, but before he can hit his catchphrase, Moxley pulls the mic out and says he didn't see what the big deal with him he is anyway. But this weekend he will pull it out of him, and the training wheels will come off. He throws the mic down, they stare down, and that's how the show goes off the air. It was a good show. I mean, we weren't wow. I don't think this is the strongest go-home show we've had. It's been AEW's been very lukewarm over the last few weeks. It really has. Hopefully, Final Battle comes on December 10th. After Final Battle, hopefully everything just goes away. And we can just get back to AEW. And Ring of Honor can have its own TV show announced, and we can go from there. Let's talk about the show coming up this Saturday. Will Hobbs versus Wardlow versus Powerhouse Hobbs versus Samoa Joe versus Wardlow TNT Championship 3-way match. Wardlow's winning. I don't know which one he's pinning, but Powerhouse Hobbs needs to win. Powerhouse Hobbs needs to win, and then you can get Wardlow versus Samoa Joe at Final Battle for the TV Championship. They have done absolutely nothing with Wardlow and that championship, and there's no reason to keep it on him. Get it on to somebody else. Death Triangle versus the Elite for the Trios Championships. They're giving him to the Elite because Tony Khan has to have his circle jerk with the Elite to make sure that they have all these championships, and he wants to reward people for bad behavior, and this is what he does. Luchasaurus versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Jungle Boy is winning this one because he doesn't have to pin Luchasaurus, so this is a way for Jungle Boy to get a win and not end the feud. Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal versus Sting and Darby Allin. Sting and Darby Allin are picking up the win here. Saraya versus Shit Faker. Saraya needs to pick up the win there. Jade Cargill versus Nyla Rose. These two could go to a 10-minute draw, whatever the draw number is, and I wouldn't give a shit. Jade's probably going to win because whatever. Don't care. That title means nothing. Chris Jericho versus Bryan Danielson versus Claudio Castagnoli versus Sammy Guevara for the Ring of Honor World Championship. I'm going with Chris Jericho. There will be a time in this match, though, where Sammy Guevara will try to win the title and possibly screw Jericho as well. Tony Storm versus Jamie Hayter. I'm going with Tony Storm. I don't see any other which way about this. Ethan Page versus TBD, because that happens on Friday. I'm going with Ethan Page to win the Eliminated Tournament, or Ricky Starks if Ricky Starks make it, because whoever wins this match has to face the AEW champion, and they're not winning that match. Swerve and No Glory versus the Acclaimed. I'm going with the Acclaimed. You just gave them the titles. There's no reason to take them off them. And this is where Swerve Strickland will turn on Keith Lee, leading into the rest of the year and next year. Jon Moxley versus MJF, AEW World Championship title match. MJF wins. And it's the only thing that makes sense. MJF wins. Now, I said that is going to be Powerhouse Hobbs, the Elite, Jungle Boy, Sting and Darby, Saraya, don't care about Nyla Rose and Jade Cargill, Chris Jericho, Tony Storm, Ethan Page or Ricky Starks, the Acclaimed, and Jon Mox and MJF. But that is going to be all for your AEW review, as well as your Full Gear predictions. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video, follow me on Minds of the France Club, follow me on twitch.tv/France and follow me on Instagram at the France Club, and I'll see you guys on Friday for SmackDown. Until then, my name is France, and I'll see you guys later.